Right, all ready to go, guys. Doing an inspection on the bees today. It's been a week since I last did them. You should go in at least weekly just to check there's no queen cells in there, because then that'll buy you time then to start splitting before they leave. It's a bit windy today and it's warm but not mad hot, so see what the temperament's like. But knowing these bees are going to be fine, from what I've seen of them already, super calm, just not bothered about you being in the hive at all, which is really good. Hopefully get to see the queen so I know she's in there. If not, I need to then start looking for little eggs that are a day or so old so that I know she's not left the hive or died. See what stores are like and see what they're doing about building up into that top box and if they're going out. My thoughts are that they've probably just gone up, because that's what bees like to do. They like to go up in hives rather than out. It's better for them, easier for them, and especially if it's right above the brood nest. So we'll see how they've done on that. I'd like to fill the bottom box out a bit as well, but it's still quite a young colony, so they might not have done that. There's probably not enough bees to do everything that they want to do, and they're going to prioritise stuff like we all do in life. So I'll go and do that now, guys, and then come back and we'll chat about it once I'm done. Cheers. It's been a week since the last inspection. At that point I put on an extra super that was going to be used as a brood box, because they need the space to expand. Make sure the queen's not on here. And she isn't. They might not be overly happy today, just from the fact that it's a bit windy. They don't like it being windy. It cools them down, especially the brood. So once you get into the brood, they might not be 100% happy. To set this up a little different, because of the potential that the queen's in this top box. I need to be really careful now that she's not in here when I move it and take it off the hive. We'll know once we get in, because if there's brood in there, we'll know she's laying up in there. Wow, they've built that out. That's one of the frames right above the brood nest, which is really good. Can't see any eggs in there, but you can see from that they're doing really well. Now I've got a box and a half on here. You don't want to be sliding frames about much really, because looking at the size of this colony now, you can see how they've expanded over the last week. Looking at that, there's they're not that she isn't in there yet by looking at those two, and those are two right above the brood nest. But looking at the amount of bees that are in here, I think a lot have hatched, and she's probably got space down below at the moment. She's not in any of these frames at the minute. So that's about 4 frames that they built out. There's certainly no queen cells on there, because by when you put a second box on like this, pinch that off, what they'll do is they'll make the queen cells in the top box. Gently get them back. Now I've got a box and a half on here. You don't want to be sliding frames about much really, because the queen will be going between
the boxes, so you don't want to be at risk of damaging her. So what have we got there? 4. So happy with that box. She's got loads of space now. Just see how calm these bees are. I mean, this isn't a particularly warm day, which they don't tend to like, because it can chill the brood nest down. So what they do is you just get a bit grumpy and like, you know, all right, that'll do you, close up, let's go, we're done. They're storing in that one. Again, they've still not built the back of that out. So I think there is a potential that have gone a bit early with going up. But that is always a gamble, really. There's loads of space there. They're not storing much. So they've got space should they need to, if we get a flow on. Because we're entering what's called the June gap now. And the June gap is basically where nothing is growing that they can use to bring stores in with. Yeah, there's loads of space on here now. Lots of brood have emerged. A little play cup there, just check that. When you get what's called play cups, they build practice queen cells. You look at all the experts and they've no understanding why they do that. And they're starting to fill the edge of that up with honey now, which is brilliant. Knocked a bee down, they don't like that. I don't like using smoke unless I've got to. So when they're this calm, what you can do is just blow on them, because they don't like wind. They will just move. So it gives you, oh, there's the queen, seen her, that's brilliant. And she's got a ton of space on there. Don't know whether you can see her on there, she's on that frame. I won't have her out too long because it is cold. A few practice cups on there, I just want to check them. Yeah, pleased I've seen her. So she's in there. There's a bit of net to getting put in there, but that's fine. Because looking at these brood frames, I'll just move a bit quicker now and get them closed up now I've seen her. With these brood frames, they were pretty solid with brood, and what they normally do is on the edge they'll store honey and pollen so that they can feed the bees with it. Feed the larvae, you know, the little baby bees. So they've got instant stores for them. Any wax they're growing on the top, you just drop it on the bottom onto the board at the bottom. They'll just go down and they'll take it and reuse it. Yeah, these are really good brood patterns. You know, boxed rammed. Plenty of room on here. She's got the room to go up. I think possibly in hindsight I'd have given another week to have gone out a bit more. But that's just a solid Same with pollen that now. They're not good, she don't want to lay in that. So I think potentially by giving the room to go up, you'd stop going out. I think potentially a bit of an issue, but not massive. Because over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, might just turn that round. It's not fully built out yet, so maybe that's why they're not bothered about the backside. Eating all through there. So you've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 solid frames of brood. Stores. Room. Happy days. Sort of. How far off are these? Yeah, they're nearly done. That's weird. No, that's not nice. That's the one. So you can get tangled up, just put that in there and put it in the wrong place, and they'd started building this one and not that one, so. Come on, off you go. Come on. Hi guys, so yeah, good inspection made up with that. As I suspected, they have gone up and not out, which it's nice to get them fill that bottom brood box before you go up, but there's always that danger that they run out of space. If they start cramming the ends with honey and there's no space for the queen to lay, they'll start backfilling the brood box and then the brood nest, and then that's a big issue then. They'll just start looking to swarm. So they've built 4 frames out in the top box, and I'll need to check my records because I can't remember if it was last Wednesday when I did that, or whether it was over the weekend I put that on. If it's over the weekend, they've done that in 3-4 days, which is brilliant. But if they've done it over a week, that's still fantastic. So what they've done is the way the brood nest set up, they've got 4 solid frames of brood, and then right above it they're building out 4 more frames for it to go up and in. Queen was in there, she's looking good. She looks like she's putting a bit of weight on, to be honest with you, so they must be feeding her well, they must like her. There's solid frame honey at one end. They've started to backfill the frame behind it with nectar and ready to turn that into honey, so they've got plenty of stores in there for now. Still some feed on there. They've taken about another litre down, but I'm not going to put any more on yet. I'm just going to keep an eye on it now and see how they go over the next month, because the bramble's just about coming out and they can start feeding on that. You don't want to overfeed them. They won't take it anyway if they don't need it, but there's no point putting syrup in there if they're not going to use it. It's just a waste. Just leave it in the bag and use it when I need it. What else did we see in there? Yeah, she's got room to lay in the bottom box. Bees have hatched. There's larvae in there. There's eggs in there, and doing really well. Really pleased with it. It's always a gamble, like I say, leaving that
bottom box too long, and they were on 7 frames, so I've done the right thing, I think. They'll build it out over time as the hive gets bigger. There's certainly more bees in there now than there was in the past, so they started hatching, they've started coming out, and they're working away in there, and there's a lot of cat brood in there that's probably going to emerge this week, maybe next week, and that'll just expand the colony even further, so they've got more workers to start building out, and they will start building those bottom frames out eventually when they've got enough bees in there. The main thing is, really pleased, they've gone up, they've built 4 frames out, they're nearly ready for her to start laying in, so plenty of room. The other thing they've started doing is, as the brood's emerging, because when they came, the brood frames were solid, and they tend to do that sort of towards the middle. And then what they've started doing now is, as the brood's hatching round the edge, they've started filling the edge full of nectar. They'll turn that into honey and pollen, and then round where the brood is in the middle, they'll have a ring of stores and pollen on that brood frame, so they can just pull that off and give that straight to the larvae, so they're not hunting about the hive and back and two. So that's how they tend to settle the brood nest. Yeah, leave them another week now, see how they get on over the next week. Plan is probably pop down over the weekend, just chuck my head in the top of the hive, just see what's going on, not doing an inspection, just lift the crown board off, see if they've got enough syrup, and then just have a look what they're doing in that top box through the queen excluder, because you can quite easily see through it to see where they're up to without going into the hive. You don't want to disturb them too much. Weekly's fine, but when they're building up, do like to just have a quick look in every few days just to make sure they're still going in the right direction. Yeah, so that's what I'll be doing over the weekend. Pop down, quick look in that top box, see how they're doing. Hopefully the queen will start coming up and start laying into there once it's ready. It's virtually ready now. The cells aren't quite deep enough, they must just be finishing them off, and then we'll go from there. But happy days. And then I think once they've filled the boxes out, that'll be when I'll put a super on to start getting some honey. But we're in the period now what's called the June gap, so there isn't a lot out there for them to forage on in June. Like I say, the blackberries have just started flowering. I've seen there's a bee on there now, so once they come out, they'll have loads of feed, loads of nectar, so at that point the feeder can come off, then they won't need it, and we'll just go for putting super on and get the honey, because you don't feed when you've got honey supers on, because they'll potentially store the syrup that you're putting in there, which is just basically sugar water and a few other things to stop it going off in the honey, and it'll just taint your honey, so you can't use it. So you're not supposed to feed when you've got supers on, so that'll need to come off once my super goes on. Realistically, when I'm looking at, probably about 3 weeks before that happens. Let them build up, don't give them too much room, they'll have too much to do and not a big enough colony. But by 3 weeks time, another round of brood will have hatched, and that box, there'll be loads of bees in there by that point, and they can handle all that space then, because they've also got to keep that area warm as well. Right guys, so that's the inspection done. I'm going to crack on, might just cut the grass now. Got to be back for 2 o'clock because chimney sweep's coming. It's only take me 20 minutes to cut the grass, just neating the place up before I leave. So yeah, I'll do that and then just crack on. So take care guys, hope you're well and look after yourselves. Bye for now, bye.